So guys, yesterday, okay, we were cruising through the concept of sensitivity data, scanning of that data, understanding certain possibilities, okay, of protecting that particular data. I had provided you certain aspects related to data level protection, okay, firewall related aspects, scanning of data, okay, in your storage, in your systems, as well as I showed you certain aspects related to Oracle related, database related parameters, okay, like how do you protect your data there as well. So most of the time it might be a tool or it might be a manual process, okay, in which we identify this type of data. And yesterday we had a discussion on like how this particular data can be identified and scanned and then protected basically. Okay. I showed you some firewall related aspect as well. So I had given you certain work basically, guys. Okay. 3 homeworks still pending. Okay. So guys, I will, before we start, tomorrow will be a self-study day. Okay. And basically I will be giving you some links as well as I had given you certain material, okay, as well, okay, the links related to data level protection and all that, okay. So please go through those links, okay. Secondly, I will share the links, okay, in chat later on, okay. And then post that, guys, okay, on Friday, okay, we will have a small assessment, okay, on module 2. Okay, so please go through module 2, okay, and then do that. Okay, so tomorrow will be a time wherein you just wait, correlate what has been done. Okay, go through it. Any questions are there, we can take them on okay, on Friday. Okay, and we can have a discussion on it. Okay, and then you can go for the assessment. Okay, that way, okay, we will be handling this. Okay, so now continuing with okay, data related aspects. Okay, one of the parts which is very critical is security audit and incident response planning. Okay, now this is like I told you certain things related to documentation as well. Okay, like business continuity plan, business impact analysis, okay, BIA, BCP. These documents are secure documents, first of all. Why they are secure? Anyone can tell me why these documents are never shared, even with the employees. Okay, even employees don't know, but only the stakeholders or the management knows about this document. Can anyone tell me? Anyone? Why these documents are so secret? Think over it. No one?
It
Did you
exposes
have
within the company's data, what kind of issues, what kind of apps or other things they have.
Okay. So why even
confidentiality,
employees confidentiality of what?
the numbers, the data audit that we are looking at?
Okay, so let's take a document of business impact analysis. Okay, so what data might be there? Like, do we have some financial data inside that?
No, but
Yes,
areas of risk may be included
Very good. Okay.
that
Areas of
can
risk. Yes.
be violated.
Yes, they can be violated. So basically, what happens is this, that when these documents are created, okay, these are created keeping in mind like what are the weaknesses of our organization. Understand this? Okay, so weaknesses could be exposed if these documents are open. Even the auditor doesn't get access to this document. What happens is this, that the stakeholder opens up the document. It could be a physical document, and then he reads, the auditor reads through this document, but he can't take a picture, he can't take anything with that document, guys. Okay, that secret that document is. So the reason is this again, if someone, okay, understands like what are your weak points or gaps, then those could be exploited. So risks, threats, everything is there in that document. Okay, so So guys, understanding of this processes is very critical and very important. So security audit is a very critical phase, and it is compulsory if your organization is compliant. Okay. And I say audit and assessment, that's fine. Okay. But then remember this, guys, that when we go for a compliance, okay, and when we do audit of some things, okay, there are a lot of things we need to be prepared before the audit starts. Okay. Now, any organization which has a proper process, okay, will always be ready for any type of audit. Okay. So imagine this, that if an organization has something like internal auditor. Okay, so if internal auditor is there, he is always assessing the organization. He's always verifying the organization's readiness for the audit. Okay, and he keeps all documents ready. So the moment external auditor comes into picture, okay, he has everything ready. He doesn't have to okay, tell or guide the organization like, okay, this is required, this is required. So basically, we need to understand this, that in the process, audit is very critical. It provides trust to your customers that this organization is audited. Audit report is provided, which is submitted in the board of directors meeting, which is accepted by the chairman, okay, or the committee, okay. So obviously, the audit goes to the top of the ranks, the stakeholders, and then comes down. We have seen huge organizations failing, okay, and they are not complying to the audit, guys. Okay, so audit provides some details, issues, regulations, compliance, everything, okay, and then they give a report. So it is up to the organization to adapt that audit report and then comply to it. Okay. So what is it? So a security audit is a systematic examination of an organization's information security controls. Now, control we understand, okay, controls are from where people will be accessing data, how will they authenticate themselves, how will they authorize themselves, what level of access we will have. All this comes under control. So information security controls determine their effectiveness in protecting information assets. Assets means everything, even a Wi-Fi router or whatever, okay, device, the laptop, it anything could be an asset, okay. So the goal of a security audit is to identify and mitigate security risks. Very clearly defined, okay, and every organization who is holding certain amount of customer data has to go through this particular audit. Okay. What is incident response? So in event if there is some attack, or in event if there is some gap and then it is exposed, what will be the response? So an incident response plan is document that outlines the steps an organization will take to respond to a security incident. The plan should include procedures for identifying, containing, and recovering from incident. Now, why this is required? Any idea, guys? Why incident response? Why a response is required? Any idea? No idea. Why that document is important as well? The incident response document or plan. I don't know if you have seen this movie. I think it was like Transformer second part. I hope people, I don't know if you like it or not, but then if you have seen it, okay, the Transformer second part, okay, you will see the aliens, they attack the data center, right? And the all the team, the military team, okay, is responding to that attack. They try to stop that attack in various ways, but that attack is so sophisticated that there are whatever firewalls and everything is there, okay, they fail. So the response they say is this, that in event our data will be exposed, they say to break the cables, the physical uplink cables, okay, to break those cables. Okay, why? because in the response, they have that plan basically that in event everything doesn't work, do this. So guys, every manager who is managing the assets and cybersecurity framework, okay, needs to know the plan in event there is an attack. What type of attack? Okay, different risks are there. What needs to be done? Even if you take an example, like in Chennai, okay, there was huge rain. In Mumbai as well, there was rain, okay, but huge rain in Chennai, and it was flooded. The data centers were like the first floor up till that they were flooded. So if the plan is not there related to the natural disaster, earthquake, or in event cyber attack, then what action will be taken? So that plan has to be in place. That is there in incident response plan. Okay. Any questions, guys, on this? Or it is clear? Is it clear? Okay, good. Security audits and incident response planning are essential components of any organization's information security program. That's what I told you. By conducting regular security audits, organizations can identify and mitigate security risks before they cause damage. By having an incident response plan in place, organization can quickly and effectively respond to security incidents, minimizing the impact of incident. That's what I told you guys. Okay, I don't need to explain it again. So some of the benefits of conducting security audits are, first is increased security. See, what happens is this, now it depends on the auditor as well, the knowledge of the auditor. If he is a click-based auditor is like, okay, he will just go to the Excel sheet and he will check, is this control there? Click, 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 something like that. Okay. Or he's a knowledgeable person. He thinks that, okay, this control is dependent on other control and other control. Okay, so all these three controls are interdependent on each other. If this is done, then this should be done. Then this is done, this should be done. Then obviously you will get more output. Okay. So increased security. Security audits and incident response plans can help to identify and mitigate security risks, making organizations more secure. Yeah, that is true. Second is reduce the risk of data breaches. Okay. So it will reduce because once the gaps are closed, okay, it will become difficult for an attacker or a threat actor, okay, to breach into that particular security. And audits are always current. Current means on the current problems. Okay, whatever issues up till today, they are there. It is there. Okay. So security audits and incident response plans can help to reduce the risk of data breaches by making it more difficult for attackers to gain access to sensitive data. Yeah. The third aspect is improved compliance. Yeah. So most of the time I told you, like people or organizations who are going for compliance, okay, surely they have to go through audit. So many organizations are required to conduct security audits and incident response plans in place as part of their compliance requirement. I already told you in last modules that if you don't go through compliance, okay, the penalties are so huge that okay, even the organization can go down, okay, with it. And who tells that you are meeting the compliance? It is the assessment team or the auditors who do that. Okay. So if you are looking for ways to improve the security of your organization, security audits and incident response planning are great options. By conducting regular security audits and having an incident response plan in place, you can help to protect your organization from security risks. That is true. Now, this is very critical. Okay. It's not like the auditor just comes in and he starts. Okay. It's not that way, guys. Okay. So we do something called as SOA, scope of the audit. Okay. Scope of the assessment as well. Okay. So we understand the business applications, okay, how they are connected, how they are accessed, okay, who will access it, how they will access it, okay, and then the scope is decided. So for example, like we have like 50,000 employees, right? In an audit, if I bring 50,000 employees inside the audit, then obviously it is a big issue. Okay. Huge amount of cost, time, everything waste. So basically, if I say the IT team, okay, audits are different, guys. Okay, so depending on that, okay, we decide. Like for example, in our framework, in cyber framework, okay, I will take the IT team. So this is like 300 member team. So where is the data center? So there is a 50 member team who is handling the data center. Okay, and there are 20 member team which is handling the disaster recovery site. Okay, so where are the servers? Okay, they are kept in the data center. Okay, where are the backup servers? They are kept in the DR, the disaster recovery site. Okay, then who will access? How people will access? Okay, so they will be connecting to the data center. So all those things are understood. Okay, and then the scope is determined that DC, this part, this employees, DR, this people, this employees. Okay, and then the scope is decided. So the scope of audit should be lean, first of all. Okay, it should be small, guys. It should not be big. If it is big, then obviously you will not achieve what you want to. Okay, how your data is and how people access it will should be on the scope. Okay. So the first step in conducting a security audit is to define the scope of the audit. This will help to ensure that the audit is comprehensive and that all relevant areas are covered. Okay, so that is very critical. Okay, and what are the assets or form factors? Okay, will be part of that. The second aspect is the CMDB, guys. Okay, and that is nothing but a collection of asset list. I think in previous modules I told you about a collection of data, right? So we scan the data and we collect that particular information. Okay, and then we understand like how many systems are there. Okay, what is their status. Okay, or stat of that particular system. Okay, we collect that particular aspect. Okay, one of the tools which we use, okay, I will tell you, like Belark is there. So here, guys, you can just go through this. Okay, so here you will find software asset management. Okay, cybersecurity. Okay, configuration monitoring. Everything is there. Okay, so a good tool, guys. Okay, so you see here, Bell Manage, Bell Analytics, Bell Secure. Okay, every Belark advisor. Okay, so here we can download it and run it. Okay, you can do that in the system, guys, in our lab basically. Okay, it's very pretty easy. You just download it and then execute it. Okay, what it does, it runs okay in the environment, and then it collects all the data of that system. So what is the operating system? Is it licensed or not? Okay, what is the antivirus installed? What is the update of that operating system update? Everything you will get out there. Okay. So the next step is to gather information about the organization's information security controls. This information can be gathered from various of sources such as interviews with employees, reviews of documentation, assessment of technical controls. So yeah, interview is a process, guys, which always happens. Okay, and the auditor will ask questions on that. The third aspect is assess the effectiveness of the controls. Okay, so once the information has been gathered, it is important to assess the effectiveness of organization information security controls. This will help to identify any gaps or weaknesses. Now, like for example, we go through the chain of access and authentication and authorization. So like, for example, we ask them, okay, do we have an active directory? They will say, yes, we have an active directory. So active directory is a centralized database where all users are kept. So the second question is this, like, what is the design of your active directory? Okay, how you have deployed it? So they will say, okay, we have one server, okay, where we have deployed active directory. The second question is, okay, who accesses the active directory? So the answer might be all users are accessing active directory for authentication and authorization. So we will say that do we have any security aspect of inside the Active Directory? Okay, like for example, in event, if can people directly connect to your Active Directory? or if people can, or from internet, is there access for Active Directory? So all these questions and definitions of how this control is secure, guys, is very critical. Like for example, if they say that we have a firewall and this firewall is protecting this Active Directory, and we have created rules like who can access this Active Directory from where. From internet, there is no access to the Active Directory, but we have a certain server, okay, which communicates for the Active Directory so that there is a proxy. So all these things, guys, are very critical. And as an auditor, okay, when he asks these questions, as I told you, not necessarily he's technical, but he needs to understand like any specific information security control, how it is there, how it is placed, and how it should be secure. Okay, all those things he needs to understand them. And the right questions will give you right answers. Will give you wrong answers. Okay. The fourth aspect is make recommendations. Okay, so once the assessment has been completed, it is important to make recommendations for improving the organization's information security control. These recommendations should be based on the findings of the audit and should be designed to mitigate any identified risks. So recommendations are very critical, very important, guys. One of the things which I want you to understand is this, that any audit is not fault finding, guys. Fault is like, okay, it's not a blame game, first of all. If it becomes a blame game, then the audit is doesn't serve any purpose. Like for example, okay, one of the port is open. So the auditor now says, okay, how can you keep this port open? Okay, this is like you are not handling this properly. Okay, now the blame starts. So now he says, okay, the application team suggested that this port has to be open. So now the application team comes into picture. Okay, now they say, okay, no, because of this aspect on this team, okay, we require this port to be open. Now this blame game starts, guys. So what it does is it doesn't serve any purpose. So first thing first and foremost thing is this, that recommendations will be provided by the auditor. The technical team has to take these recommendations, understand it. Then they need to answer to this recommendation. Can this be done or not? So if it is not done, then why? The reason has to be provided to the auditor that this is not. Then the auditor, what he does on the answer, he says like this is not a good practice. Okay, the best practice is this. Then he gives the practice, and then the technical team has to go through the best practice and then implement it. So this is all the process, guys. There is no blame game here. Okay. So even the auditor, yeah, auditor ko kuch nahi aata hai. This auditor doesn't know anything, boss. Okay, he is like just troubling me, or he's just calling me, okay, with some documents. No. The auditor is doing his job, okay. Whatever he asks, whatever he requests, it is a responsibility of the team, even the management, to see that all this data is provided without asking any questions, guys. Okay, that is the power of the auditor. Any questions, guys, on this? Anything? Any thought process? Anyone has who has gone through the auditor? Anyone?
Yeah, I had the
Please
multiple
share
audits
your,
for bank.
yeah, yeah. So please share your inputs on this. Okay, like how the auditor approached you and what questions did he ask, so that it will enlighten this group out here.
Yeah, usually, the statement of the
Audit
assessment or the audit
assessment.
will be
Yes.
provided and will be
Mm,
called for, uh, and we'll be asked to share the data, what is
mm,
requested.
mm,
And the auditors will review the data and they will
mm.
schedule a interview,
Interview. Yes.
yeah, to
Mm,
clarify the things, or if they have anything that will be done
yes.
over the email. But
Yes.
anything beyond that, or there are some red flags or something that need to be, that which are identified as part of the audit, exposed due to the audit, that will be interviewed at the time of the event, in the interview process, and the
Right.
notes will be taken, and how to
Yes.
mitigate that, and what is the plan of approach. to do it,
Yes.
and what are the risks that are need to be closed
Closed. Yeah.
in
Mm.
terms of high, medium, low with the risk
Yes.
categories. Yeah.
Mm. Very good. Very good. So basically, this audit reports, guys, okay, is like a benchmark. Now, what happens? I will tell you. Okay, listen to it carefully. The moment the audit report is out, okay, now audits are continuous. Okay, so yearly audits are there, right? So the moment the report is on and you don't take action on the report, and then you are compromised. Okay, and then in the gap is there in the report. What happens in compliance, you will know the compliance will kill you, guys, because the compliance will tell you the auditor had told you there is some issue and then you didn't take an action on it, so you will be fined. So $10 million. So that is what happens. And the moment you take action on it, and then still there is a issue, still then you are safe, guys. Okay, why? Because the auditor had provided something, all these gaps. Okay, and then we filled it up, and after 2 months there was a compromise. Then you are safe as an organization. But then the auditor is questionable. Okay, so auditor is questioned, like, why? Okay, now for example, there was a 0-day vulnerability or a very critical vulnerability at that particular moment of time, but we had filled all the gaps. But then this vulnerability is a new vulnerability, then even the auditor is not to be blamed, guys. Okay, so all these things, guys, okay, matter a lot on the administration level. So as an employee, okay, think in a perspective that if it is your own organization, that organization can go down or it will close it out. Now, big, huge banks, when they are compromised, do you think like there is no penalty on this? No, boss. This banks are like hugely penalized. Okay, and obviously it's like it's not only a financial loss, but it is the brand loss. The name itself is in trouble, guys. Okay. So now, okay, incident response plan. So audit, we now understand how it happens. Okay, what is incident response plan? So again, for incident response plan, similar to the audit, we need to have a scope of the plan. So the scope will state like you can have procedural documents or plans related to departments or data or application. In event this application is compromised, what needs to be done? In event this server is compromised, what needs to be done? In event this whole data center is compromised. So we need to have the scope of plan. So the first step in developing in incident response planning is to define the scope of the plan. Without scope, we can't go ahead. This will help to ensure that the plan is comprehensive and that all relevant areas are covered. Now, guys, in the scope of the plan, we also design certain things called as the SOP documents. Okay, so standard operating procedure. So the scope of plan states that in event if something happens or deployment, how the deployment has to be done, SOP is there. In event there is a trouble, what has to be the SOP? All these things are very critical, guys. The scope of the plan has to be designed and understood and only focusing on that particular scope. Okay. Then second is identify potential incidents. So the next step is to identify potential incidents that could occur. Now, this input you will get from the auditors, okay, the risk team, okay, which is there, and then you can create that plan. So this will help to ensure that the plan is prepared to respond of any type of incident. It could be natural, it could be artificial, whatever. Okay. Develop response procedure, standard operating procedure. That is what I told you. So once potential incidents have been identified, it is important to develop a response procedure for each incident. So this procedure should be detailed and should outline the steps that will be taken to respond to each incident. Now, I don't know if you have seen these guys, okay, but then in event, like for example, take a very critical situation, airline, okay. So basically, what happens is that a pilot has this plan, the procedures, guys. So what do they have? They have a book, basically, okay, a big book. And in event, like for example, one engine down, okay, so then they just jump to that particular risk or incident, and then they follow the procedure. It's not at all humanly possible, okay, that you will remember all the procedures. First of all, human being can't do that, okay. So in event there is an incident, okay, you just jump to that particular document on the procedure and follow the procedure. If the person who is in control doesn't follow the procedure, then something happens, okay, then he's responsible for everything. But if he follows the procedure and still there is some issue, then he's not responsible. I hope you understand the difference, guys. So in event the second engine, one of the engine fails, okay, the pilot follows the procedure and mitigates it, then obviously he will be awarded, okay. But then he tries to think of his own mind, okay, then obviously okay, everything is a disaster basically, okay. And even if he thinks from his own mind and mitigates it, still there is a problem, okay, still he will land in trouble, guys. So all these things are very critical, okay. So these documents are kept inside the cybersecurity framework. Like for example, if there is a plan designed for data center, then there is a document which is kept there, guys, okay. So in event there is a issue, okay, people run to that document, take it out, see if that incident is there. Now the second part, if that incident is not covered in the procedure, then it depends on the situation on the ground and the technological know-how of that team, okay, to mitigate that issue, okay. So this is how, okay, this standard operating procedure works, guys, okay. Any questions on this, guys? No questions, okay. So guys, something like this, okay. Yeah, go on. Anyone has? No, okay. So last time when I was there in Providence, okay, there was like post lecture. Okay, what happened? The alarm started. Okay, the fire alarm started. So these people, okay, they were testing the readiness out there. Okay, like how it is. So what happens is this: like I am a guest coming from outside in Providence, right? But I had that what I can say, the card, okay, on my shirt, okay. So basically, what I saw and observed, I will tell you. So the team who manages this, they understood that I am a guest. So I don't know the exit point, right? It might be in your briefing, they might have told you like how to check the exit plan, okay, how to go to a particular step, okay, how to avoid the lifts, all those things they might have taught you. I don't know if they have done that or not. But then they test the plan, guys. Okay, so that there was a guy who ran to me. Okay, he told me, sir, you need to go to the left, then go to the right. Providence is like little bit, like it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, and so somewhere, okay, I go to the left, right, I don't know. So basically, he told me go to left, right, and then you will see the emergency exit. Just push the button and then go down. Okay. So test the plan, guys. So once the plan has been developed, it is important to test the plan to ensure that it is effective. This can be done by conducting tabletop exercises of full-scale drill. It has to be done. So in event there is an incident, okay, we need to understand the readiness. It could be done at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. It could be done in a planned way that the team knows that there will be something, okay, or there will be a sudden plan wherein black drill, okay, black drill is nothing but like, for example, no one knows, okay, it's like a sudden, the management takes a decision today, 2 o'clock, we will take this drill, or today, like in 15 minutes, we'll take this drill. We need to check the response. So all this happens, okay. Maintain the plan. So once the plan has been tested, it is important to maintain the plan by updating it as needed. This will help to ensure that the plan is always up to date and that it is effective. Like for example, in a specific incident, okay, we find that there is something new which has popped up. Okay, so that has to be included inside the plan. So plan is not, it should not be a stale plan, guys. Plan is always dynamic. It is always changing depending on the environment, okay, depending on the trends of attacks, okay, all those things, okay. So that is what has it's a different department, guys, okay. I don't know if Providence has it, guys. Anyone who is part of that department, guys, tell me. Okay. So the next aspect is one of the controls which we had always discussed on, okay, and that is encryption and secure storage methods, guys, okay. I told you, like, when I come out there, okay, I will be taking out and I will be explaining you about the certification authority, different types of CAs and all those things, and we will try to deploy a certificate authority server, okay, in our lab, okay, and we will test it out. We'll do that, okay, but then these concepts are important, okay. So overview of encryption methods, okay. What is encryption? We know, okay, it is like converting the data into some form or format, okay, and so that only the decryption, okay, can help to recover that data. Secure storage methods for different types of data, risk associated with insecure storage and best practices for secure storage, challenges in implementing encryption and secure storage method. So basically, we had some discussion on this, like data in motion, data in rest, okay, private key, public key, symmetric, asymmetric encryption, okay. Let's see, okay, what are different methods. So encryption is the process of converting data into a form that is unreadable by unauthorized parties. Yeah, those who have the key, they can open it up. So encryption is used to protect data from unauthorized access, both during transmission and rest. So transmission is like you are sending a file from one point to other point, and data in rest is nothing but you have kept it in the storage. Okay. So again, guys, we came back to two types of encryption: symmetric, asymmetric. Symmetric, I told you, it's like same password, both the sides. If they match, then we open up. Asymmetric is two different keys, okay, and then we okay, match, and then they open up. So symmetric encryption uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt data. This type of encryption is typically faster than asymmetric encryption, but it requires that both the sender and the receiver share the key. Okay, so this is very critical, okay, in symmetric encryption, okay. So it's like both have the same key, it has to be matched, and then you can open up the data. Now, what happens in symmetric is this: the CPU utilization, okay, the amount of CPU required, okay, to process this data is less, okay. So the load on your systems will be less, okay. And asymmetric is opposite. So asymmetric encryption uses two different keys, a public and a private key. So the public key is used to encrypt data and the private key is used to decrypt data. So this type of encryption is typically slower than symmetric encryption, but it does not require that the sender and receiver share a key. This is very critical, okay. Sometimes what happens, key hijacking and all those things. There are a lot of things with encryption, guys, okay. It's a lot of, what I say, technical aspect, okay, to it. But then let's understand that asymmetric is different, okay. It will utilize your CPU, okay. You encrypt using a public key and send it. Those who has the private key will open up that data and you will be able to see that key. Most of the time, in our case, okay, when we are connecting to RDP or SSH or all those, we are using asymmetric encryption, guys. Okay. So there are many different encryption algorithms available, each with its own strength and weaknesses. So some of the most common encryption are advanced encryption standard, AES, RSA, okay, Diffie-Hellman. There are many, guys, other than this, but these are some of the algorithms which we consider to be secure, okay. AES, RSA, all these are still proving that they can protect your data. Remember, guys, like if you go back to the history of encryption algorithms, okay, some algorithms which were considered secure, today they are considered weak. Okay, so understand this. So AES is a symmetric encryption algorithm that is known to be very secure. So AES is used by many organizations to protect sensitive data, including financial data, medical data, and government. It is considered to be very, very secure. Like nowadays like 256 and all that, okay, algorithms are there, AES, okay, encryption is there. It is considered like even today's computing power will not be able to crack this encryptions, guys. Okay, so still we are saying RSA usually use, guys. This name RSA is from the three inventors, okay, who invented the encryption. Okay, so RSA is an asymmetric encryption algorithm that is also considered to be very secure. RSA is used by many organizations for secure communication such as email and file transfer. We will see this, guys, in action when we deploy this. Okay, I will show this you this, okay, in a Linux system. Okay, I will take that system from my lab basically, or my okay, environment, and I will show you, okay, how we do encryption and decryption using RSA out there. Okay. Diffie-Hellman, okay. So this is also a asymmetric encryption algorithm that is used to exchange keys. Diffie-Hellman is used by many organizations to establish secure connections such as VPN, okay, like IPsec and tunnels which we create, right, from one site to other site. When we are interconnecting, we use this type of algorithms. So encryption is an important security tool that can be used to protect data from unauthorized access. So by understanding the different types of encryption and different encryption algorithms available, organization can choose the right encryption solution for their need. So encryption, guys, is not a privilege. Okay, it is a necessity. We need to understand this. Most of the encryption methods are open. That means they are not closed methods. So if you take my device, I will only give you this encryption. It is not like that. Most of the encryption standards are open. They can be open because they are secure. The way they work is secure. So that's why we consider and we trust this encryption. So again, benefits I don't need to tell you, but then just we'll run through them. So our security increases. Okay. Reduce risk of data breaches. Yes, obviously. Even if you lose a disk or a USB disk, and if it is encrypted, still you are protected, because obviously, okay, remember this, that in event there is a data breach, okay, what will he do with the encrypted data? He will try to decrypt it, but then he doesn't have the keys. So how will he decrypt it? So unless and until it is the insider's job, who has the key, then my data is not at risk. Okay. Improved compliances. So compliances, okay, the people, they will ask you, okay, where have you kept the data? So I say, oh, I have kept the data here. Is it encrypted? If you say no, then there will be 10 questions more. If you say yes, then the question will stop there. Then the only question they might ask, what is the algorithm you are using to protect this data? Okay, what is the bit key you are using to protect this data? And who has the access to the key to protect this data? This might be the questions, guys. Okay. Secure storage methods for different types of data. Okay, so storage is important, guys, and basically all your data is kept on the storage. Okay, so let's understand. So the best secure storage method for different types of data depends on sensitivity of the data and the risk of exposure. Okay, so for example, highly sensitive data such as financial data or medical records should be stored in a highly secure location, such as a data center. Data center is a physical environment, that is what they are considering. Less sensitive data such as customer data can be stored in a less secure location, such as cloud storage service. So understand this, guys, where we have to keep the data. So most of the time, wherever we keep it, it has to be protected and only few people need to access it. So let's see the locations. So first is the data center. So a data center is a secure facility that is designed to house computer systems and data. Data centers are typically equipped with security measures such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and access control. I'll just show you something, guys. And what I'm looking out for is different. Okay, so guys, when we talk of data center, we start with the physical security. Okay, I wanted to show you something. It's not there. Okay, like for example, tailgating. Okay, accessing the environment. Okay, the security process is there. So okay, so this like it is only showing us the data center. Let me see if I see something here. No. So okay, it's these data centers are some rooms like this. Okay, servers are here. You will see this is the rack. So this rack you cannot access the servers. Okay, unless and until open up this rack. This is the last physical I can say aspect. Okay, in which you access the server. But then to access this room, even there is something right. There is a gate, then there is a guard there. Okay, and after that guard, okay, below that, okay, your verification, okay, everything is verified, checked. So there is a mail which has to be sent from your department. Okay, and then only you will be able to allowed to access the data center. So all of this matters, guys. Okay, so it's not like a data center is like anyone can go inside. No, when you go in, what you are carrying, and when you are going out, what you are carrying, okay, that responsibility is again with the security guard. Now what happens is this, that the data center team provides the packages. Okay, so they say that okay, you there is a package stating like whole security, partial security, whatever. So if a bank's team is there in that location where data center is there, then they are called. Okay, and they take the responsibility of the security, or you hire a security of the data center team. Depending on that, the money is provided. Okay, so all these processes are defined, guys. Okay, so if you see here, data center access is not straightforward. You see here there is a cage here. Even you see, so some of the servers are in the rack, but then there is a cage outside. So that cage is like you require isolation from any other customers who are visiting the data center even. Like for example, I'm visiting a data center and there is a rack, my rack, and besides that there is another organization's rack. So if I go to that rack as well, okay, if I can do something mischievous, I don't know. So they have a cage even. So you can put your racks inside that cage. To access that cage, the bank or the medical or that organization's employee has to be there, and then he opens up that cage, and then you get access to that. So that level of security is there, guys. Okay. Any questions, guys, on this, or is it clear? So this is like a physical security, guys. Okay. Second thing, there is no wireless, nothing. Okay, in data center. So you can't send and receive any data, guys. Okay, you require a physical access. In movies, sometimes, okay, it is like above our head. Okay, so I don't believe that anyone can physically access data center directly. Okay, without bypassing the security measures. Okay, there are a lot of gates and a lot of policies and processes which people have to follow. Still, there are some incidents. Okay, where data center breaches have happened, guys. Okay, but nevertheless, it's not that easy. The second is cloud storage service. So a cloud storage service is a remote storage service that provides businesses and individuals with a way to store data online. So like you can upload the data directly, but then you need to see that you are keeping your data on someone's storage. Someone's storage means that storage doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the provider. So that you need to have a thought process. And third is on-premises storage. So the storage in your environment. So on-premises storage is a storage solution that is located on the organization's own premises. So on-premises storage can be more secure than cloud storage, but it can be also more expensive. Yes, because you are parking that storage, okay, for that data. So that also is a challenge, basically. Okay, and that has to be understood. So cloud storage is like pay as you go. On-premises storage is like you are committing, you are paying the money, okay, on the site. So all these three aspects are critical and very important, guys. Okay. So important factors for choosing a secure storage, the sensitivity of the data. So most of the banking data is never kept in what I can say in cloud or on premises. It is kept inside the data center, guys. So because it is very sensitive data. So the more the sensitive the data, the more secure the storage should be. The risk of exposure, okay, who is interested in that data? So it could be hackers, it could be anyone else or competitors. So you need to be very well versed with the risk of the exposure. Okay, so higher the risk of exposure, the more secure the storage should be. And the cost of the storage method, you should look into the cost as well. Everything boils down to cost, and this is the cost which compromises security, guys. So if your data cost is like trillions of dollars, and you are expected to invest $50,000 and you say it's very costly, then it is, you are like the most foolish person in the world, guys. So depending on that, okay, the cost has to be understood, and keeping the sensitivity of that data, you need to go ahead with that. So these are very critical things, guys. Okay. So guys, I want to share some links with you for your study purposes. Okay. So NIST publications, please go through it. Just stop it. Okay, I'm just putting them in chat, guys. Department of Homeland Security, there is a publication there as well, guys. You can just go through the publications and some interesting reads. You can do that. Okay. And there is a Cloud Security Alliance, okay, in which there are multiple. You need to register for this. Please use your Gmail ID, guys, okay, for registration. Don't use your company ID. Okay, it might ask you which organization you are working in. These three links, guys, are important. Okay, please go through it. Okay, download some interesting publications. Okay, whatever we have gone through. Okay, and read through it, guys. Okay, so tomorrow is your what I can say, a Solon's day. Okay, a soul day. Utilize this time tomorrow, okay, to read through whatever we have done up till now. Go through it, okay, understand it, okay. On Friday we will have a small session, okay. Whatever you have gone through, if any questions are there, please come back to me. We will have those cleared, okay. Friday I will be in some sort of travel, but I will have this time with you guys, okay. And then you will go through the second module assessment. So go through the second module, guys. You have tomorrow's day and day after tomorrow. If any questions are there, we can get it cleared on Friday. That's not a problem. Right, guys? Great, 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 great. So thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Take care. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.